Hello, hello. All right, guys. Hi. So I got the group over here, page over here. Okay. So I'm actually not talking about reading today. Okay, well, maybe we'll touch on it for just a second or something. But I am excited to talk about today's IEP because, as you guys know, it is ESY time and you guys should be completely on this stuff, okay? So I want you guys, hey Nadia, how are you? So I want you guys on top of this stuff. I want you guys focused and I want you guys to get this for your child. But as you know, I try to be transparent in things that don't always go so great, okay? So, because anything with an IEP, as you guys know, can vary. It can be different. It can, be really good and then it can get really bad. But the biggest thing is, today, let me just take a step back. Okay, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Raven Woods, and I'm the CEO and founder of Autism Mama Rocks IEP, and I help parents gain the knowledge and the confidence to become the CEO of their IEP meeting. Okay? Been doing this for quite some time now, and I love, love, love what I do. Okay? So I am thrilled about today, so I'm going to tell you about that. But first, guys, on the group, post a 1 below if it's your first through third time catching me live. Welcome to the group. I know I have to get better at welcoming all the new people. I used to put up a welcome thing every week, and I have gotten really bad about that. But I literally have an IEP every single day this month. And then on Saturdays is actually when I'm doing my 4-hour IEP makeovers because I'm that busy. Okay? It's just the end of the year. That's how it is, Hi, Marina. How are you? All right. So, hi, Erin. Hi, April. How are you? Hi, Tess. Hi, Tarina. Is it Tarina? Am I saying that right? It's nice to meet you, too. Okay. So, don't forget, post a 1 below if it's your first through third time catching me live and tell me where you're from. All right. Maybe you guys can help me in the fact that, number one, I'm getting ready to start up YouTube. Go subscribe to my YouTube, all right? Go do that. Don't forget, because I'm getting ready to launch it. The videos are there. We're getting ready to, put those pictures, on it that go on each video with the title. And we're finalizing it all up. So I'm going to be streaming here on the Facebook and on YouTube. So go like YouTube, okay? You can subscribe and you can get the notifications and stuff, okay? So I'm excited about that. Plus, I need to get to 100. So you guys got to help me out. All right, I need your help. I bet that I could get a lot more than 20 people because there's like almost 7,000 on my group and 7,000 something on my page. So go do that for me, please. And make sure to share this video. Lord, I wish I found you before I had my son's last IEP. Last year, I went in the blind. Yeah, we all do that. But now you've found me, so if you need me, let me know, okay, Marina? All right, link to YouTube, please. All right, yes. So if if you could link the YouTube. If not, I'll do it afterward. But I will post a link for you guys. No problem. But yes, please go to YouTube, okay? Actually, you know what, Tess? Let me just grab it real quick for you. Hang on. All right. I'm going to grab it for you. And then we'll get started, okay? Okay. So, your channel. Okay, here it is. Okay. I have it. And here's the cool thing, too. Is with my channel. Okay, I just posted it on the page. I'll have to paste it later on the group. But here's the thing, is when you see how it's all jumbled up, www.youtube, blah, 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 blah. Well, here's the cool thing, is once I get to 100, I just started, telling people about it. So I'm like at 70 something. But now if I get to 100, I get to have my own URL. I get to have it say Autism Mama Rocks the IEP, all that kind of stuff, right? So I'm excited about that. So let's make it like 1,000, not 20. All right, so go to YouTube. Just take a minute. You're not gonna miss anything. And just go subscribe, okay? Can you do that for me? Give me a thumbs up. All right, hey Janet. Hi Kristen. All right, so here is, don't forget to tell me where you're from. When you post that 1 below if you're new. Post 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. All right, so here we go. So today, all right, I had an IEP for a student that I actually, this was a case and is a case. It's ongoing because we have next year. Thank you, Ash, for subscribing. Yay! Make sure you post subscribe below. You know what? You know what? I'm going to do my Amazon gift cards. If you post subscribe below, I will put your names in my hat. You know my hat. And I will pick 4 names. And you will get a $25 gift card to Amazon. Just for subscribing to Autism Mama Rocks IEP. And now all you got to do is post below. All right? Okay. So here's the thing. Is, you know, this child is the same age as my child. Okay? And I love doing that, you know, like advocating for her, just in relation to the fact that she's my daughter's age. So, you know, when you have that similarity, all right? And then thank you, Stephanie, for subscribing. Tarina's like, sorry for the angry face. That's okay. I don't mind. So, you know, as a mom, you know, we relate. And so, you know, her daughter has trouble with math and reading. And, you know, the fact that they're the same age and the fact that they're, you know, like it's almost identical, you know? And so the school and we had an IEP today just specifically. Yes, go to my YouTube. I posted the link above, Janet, and you just subscribe, okay? So when you subscribe, post below that you subscribe, and I'm going to give out 4 Amazon gift cards. And you guys know I do, all right? I gave out a lot last year. So I was excited about it because it started off, you know, kind of normal. They didn't think it was a big deal. And then we started off rocky a couple months ago. And then we basically came to an agreement. Okay, let's, you know, just put in the search Autism Mama Rocks the IEP, Pritis. Because unless Aaron, if you could go post the link on the group, that would be great, to my YouTube. All right, because they don't have the link. We'll get it posted, okay? So now bring us today, because it started off where, I mean, I went in, I was ready for war. And then now we're at this, okay, let's get along, and things have calmed down. Thank you, Davinia. Thank you, Janet. Thank you, Dory. Yes, keep subscribing, okay? And I might even, if you guys keep subscribing, I might even do 8 gift cards, all right? Just because I'm in that kind of mood. So here's the deal. They said, at first they emailed mom. Okay, get this. Okay, and this is where things kind of got fishy. Is they emailed mom and they said, hey, you don't even have to show up at the IEP. Thanks, Kristen. Posted YouTube on the group just now. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Tess. So I told mom, I said, absolutely not. You have to go. Thank you, Britis. You have to go to an IEP for ESY, or that's a predetermination. And I said, how is it that they can say, oh, you don't have to do anything, you just have to sign this paper to go to ESY? What is that? Sticking the child into a area of ESY that may not be appropriate for her? I don't understand. I mean, there's not a one-size-fits-all ESY program. You know, there's hey, Naomi, thank you. So that was weird. And then we get to the meeting, and I actually told mom, I said, email them back. And you know what? Play dumb. Say, weird. You know, I thought we had to go to an IEP meeting to have, you know, a ESY determination, and we come to an agreement and talk about it. And she said, okay, see you at the meeting. She knew. All right. But the problem here is, number one, they're trying to one size fits all ESY. Stop thinking yourselves, okay, even though the schools tell you this. Stop thinking in your heads. Thank you, Davinia. Thank you, Dory. You guys are awesome. Seriously, you're awesome. And I will announce by Friday who has the gift cards. And I will pick it out. Actually, I'll have Skylar pick it out. All right. I'll have her pick out 8 names. All right. So here's where I got frustrated, and I don't want this to happen to you. So if you're going to an IEP meeting and you're talking about ESY, don't let them say, okay, well, our program starts June 15th and it's over July 30th. Okay. That's great. I'm glad you have a program like that. That's awesome. But that's not going to work for my child. If it is, great. But if it isn't, there's no such thing as June 15th to July 30th. That's just a program that they choose to do and call it ESY, because ESY stands for extended school year. It doesn't stand for June 15th to July 30th. Okay? There's no date on it. It is extended school year. ESY can actually go into play during Christmas and spring break. It is extended school year, meaning your child goes to school year round, because we don't want them to lose what they've possibly gained. All right? We don't want them to regress. All right? Which is losing what they've possibly gained. We don't, and that can be behavior. That can be academic. It could be anything, okay? It could be as small as your child has sensory issues and they will qualify for ESY. The school will say no, but they would, okay? It can be the smallest thing, all right? Because your child is more important, all right, than anything. And getting them exactly what they need is what we all have to fight for. All right? No matter what the repercussion. All right? The school will come after you. They will call CPS on you. It happens. All right? They will come after your personal life. They will bring up all your shit. I don't care. I really don't. My thing is you have to just go with today and do the right thing. And doing the right thing is getting knowledgeable in ESY and special education and IEPs, which I'm hoping that I'm contributing to, and contributing to you all learning more. And part of that, so hopefully I'm part of that. And I want you to be an open book in the sense of no matter what they do, you fight for your kids. All right? And I'll tell you another thing. Don't be afraid of CPS. I mean, at all. All right? Cover your ass. I don't, you know what? I'll have a cover your ass live one day, okay? I will teach you how to cover your ass. All right? And what I mean by that is covering your ass from their vindictiveness, their discrimination, their coming at you because they don't know what else to do. They just want you off their back. All right? And so schools will do anything. It's the government. Look at your school as the government. That is exactly what the DOE is. And like I've said before, I don't think they go into it, wanting, thank you for subscribing. But you can't be afraid. All right. I think that's one of the things I love teaching my parents is you go for it. All right. When you decide that you're going to go for it, you go for it and you don't back down ever. Okay. All right. So let me tell you about this. So we started the meeting went great. Okay. When I started talking, I said, we have a child that has I did my whole, spiel with the science of reading, and this is the teacher's face. No joke. No joke. That was her face, all right? You guys better not have taken a screenshot of me making that face, okay? So here's the thing. I knew right then, because I text my parents on WhatsApp when we're in a meeting, I said, this teacher has no clue what the science of reading is. She has no idea. And that wasn't saying it was a bad thing. Well, it is a bad thing, but it wasn't a teacher fault thing because teachers are not trained and schools are not investing in their teachers, okay? So that is a problem in today's day and age, all right? But so I then teach them, which I seem to be doing a lot these days, is teaching IEP teams about reading and the right thing to do. All right. And so I said to them, I said, she went over the goals because they were trying to rush through the goals. And one of the goals for math was word problems. All right. And then one of the goals for reading was answering questions to a paragraph, a story, etc. I'm sure you guys have heard it. They are very common goals, right? Well, here's the thing. Why would you have a goal in comprehension when that's the last part of reading? And word problems is a comprehension thing. You got to understand the word problem in order to solve it. All right? You have to understand a paragraph, a story, etc. in order to answer 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 questions. So why would we jump there? All right. So we have a student who does have fluency. So she's fluent in reading words. That's a good thing. She knows how to decode most words, and she recognizes her words. All right. She understands and recognizes her words. So she has that recognition of words. Cool. All right. So what's missing? The two things that go together in every part of the science of reading that should always be part of every single instance. All right? Remember, the science of reading is about how that child's taught and all about modeling. I do, you do, we do. All right? Going to be one of our t-shirts, right? And so the teacher, I then stopped the teacher and I said, no. How are you having goals for a student that doesn't have comprehension? We got to take a step back here. All right. That's what this ESY is for, is to get her more proficient in her ability so that she can make progress next year. And mind you, this is a student going into high school next year. So the teacher, I then say, we need to focus on vocabulary and comprehension. All right. So that is the most important thing. All right. Is vocabulary and comprehension. They always will be part of reading in every area, in phonemic awareness, in decoding, in language recognition and knowledge, everything. Okay. So that is very, very important to know. All right. So in knowing that, all right, and knowing that this is a student that I needed to figure out what would be good goals for her so that she could gain vocabulary, be able, and this is how I explained it to the teacher. All right. I said, just take the word cat. All right, so here's a little lesson. We've done this before, but let's do it again. Don't forget, guys, post a 1 below if it's your first or third time catching me live. Post a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. So I said to the teacher, I said, if you just take the word cat, all right, so she knows how to read that word, cat, all right? Well, now, so that's a you do, okay? You're saying, hey, cat, all right? And then you have her say that, cat, all right? Hi, Vanessa. And this sounds stupid, but this is how it goes. Then it's, all right, cat, good job. So then we're doing it together. That's a good job. That is the word cat. How do you sound that out? Sound that out for me. Cat. All right. And then, you're decoding it, you're breaking it down, etc. Once you're past that part, which she is, Okay. Then we get to, again, I do. I do, and I say, when I think of a cat, I think of the purring noise, which then again, she has to understand what purring means. Okay? So as you talk, you're talking about vocabulary words that this child may or may not understand. All right? Hey Jenny, how are you? Hi Brittany, hi Vanessa. Okay, so then I would say, and cats are really soft, and some have short hair and some have long hair, and they meow. And so, you can go on and on. Okay, so that's what I do. All right, then I'll say, now you tell me, what do you think of when you think of a cat? And then you let them talk. Do it with your own kids. It's fun, actually. All right, so when you think of a cat, this is what Skylar does at Linda Mood Bell. And so it really helped some of the training that I've received, because it really gave me that visual with my own child of, oh, this is so genius. Like, I should have recorded it, but I can't do that. Okay, it's just one of their rules. But it was genius watching it happen. And so what it is really that they're doing when it's a I do, you do, we do, I do and you do and we do, what we're doing is we're painting pictures in our brains. Okay? So what we do is, then they explain what they think a cat is. Don't correct them. Don't say, no, that's not right. Let them talk. All right? Because that's their envision of a cat. Okay? And that's where the we do. We're modeling again. The first time we're modeling that. The second time they're talking about what they believe a cat is. And then together, I get excited about this because it's actually fun. Then together we say, I would first say, really good job. You are right. A cat is soft, or whatever it is that they said that was right. I would then validate that for them. I would be like, that was really good. That's exactly what a cat looks like. Or that's exactly what a cat can look like. Or what a cat can do. Yes, they can jump on the countertop. Whatever it is they do, okay? And then I would then participate in adding to helping them paint a better picture. All right? Because as they're learning, they're explaining, right? And they're going to get some things right and some things wrong. We're not going to talk about anything that they say wrong. All right? We're going to talk about the good. We're going to talk about what they got right. All right? And then you're going to chime in yourself. And you're going to say, and you know what? Don't you think, do cats have long tails? Do they have tails that move? Do they have paws? Do they have nails? Start talking about the cat. Really paint the picture of the cat. All right? And then that child is going to, say, yeah, or they're not going to know, or maybe they don't say anything. But what you're doing is you're painting that picture in their head. And so you take that scenario with any word, cat, dog, hat, boy, girl, park, slide, whatever. Okay? Our local Linda Mood Bell office just closed just when I started to hear about their yeah. I can't say enough about Linda Mood Bell. But anyway, long story short, that is what you do. So you can do it with anything. Okay? It can be a computer. All right? So when I think of a computer and you start, what do you think when you think of a computer? What's a computer? Start asking them, what is that? What does it look like? And computers can look like a lot of things. So whatever it is that they say, if they're right, and there is a computer that does look like, then they're right. They don't have to describe every single computer that's out there. They don't have to be like, oh, it has to have an Apple sign on it if it's an Apple computer. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for them to paint a picture of what they really see in their heads so that you know that they understand that vocabulary word, okay? And then so it's the I do, you do, we do, all right? And that's how that works. And when teachers do this, okay, and they're trained in doing this, it's actually fun. Kids have fun with it. They can actually learn together, but if a child is struggling in reading and they're so far behind, then it does need to be more direct instruction, okay, and possibly intervention. All right. So one of the goals that I gave this student, all right, because the teacher did mention prefixes and suffixes, which is important, I said, I'm going to create the goals. Is that okay? So they took every single one of my goals, and one of them was given a list of 20 words with prefixes and suffixes, the child's name, will identify the root word, prefix and suffix, all right, in 9 out of 10 trials at 90% accuracy as measured by report data collection. That was goal 1. Remember, this is ESY, short period of time, so I only gave a couple. The second goal was, all right, while reading a passage, the child's name will use decoding and word recognition skills in 9 out of 10 trials at 90% accuracy as measured by report data collection. The third goal, given a list of 20 vocabulary words, the child's name, will use words in sentences applying correct meaning to those words in 9 out of 10 trials at 90% accuracy as measured by report data collection. And then right after that, it's always by such and such date. All right, just so you know, at the very end, by such and such date. I hate it when goals have by such and such date and then the goal written. It just is stupid to me, all right? Because you need the goal to get to the by, all right? So I don't know. I'm just kind of type A like that. I'm a weirdo. I have to have things like it has to look right, and I will stay up all night to make sure it looks right. So it just drives me nuts about that. All right, so the fourth goal is given 20 sentences with underlined words, all right, the child's name, will use prior word structure knowledge to determine the meaning of the underlined word in 9 out of 10 trials at 90% accuracy as measured by report data collection. So let me give you some 411 on those 4 goals. Do you see how the first one was prefixes and suffixes, which is about, moving into that language knowledge, okay? The second goal was in reference to decoding and word recognition, all right? So what was that doing? Because I already told you in the beginning, she already has that. So what is that? The teacher told me that she has things and loses things. So I gave her a goal that she can stay steady with and that stays repetitive so that she keeps up with that basic so that she can move on. Okay? So then the third goal is vocabulary words themselves. Given 20 vocabulary words. Now, mind you, you can go less because, this is a child going into high school, so, more. But 20 vocabulary words is not that much for a child going into high school. So, of course, you can play with that number. And so it was in reference to vocabulary words and applying the correct meaning, right? Hi, how are you? And then the fourth one was given sentences. All right, so I'm moving into the comprehension phase of it, but one word. Okay, so given 20 sentences with underlined words, so it doesn't mean 20 sentences all at once. That's not what it's saying. But 20 sentences throughout the time period of the goal, all right, the child will master the underlined word structure knowledge, meaning words that they are familiar with but need to understand the structure and the knowledge of the meaning of that word. So it's moving into comprehension. All right. So I built the goals to build off one another. All right. So those were the 4 reading goals that I created for her that the school district raved over. And the teacher was like, absolutely, just like what you said, and I don't, this may sound weird, but I don't think in my head, if you will, when a teacher says, yeah, like what you said, and in the beginning, I kind of said to them, what you're saying is not the way things should go. I don't boast on that, okay? And you shouldn't either in a meeting, all right? What I want is to teach them and them to be open to that. And I say that in meetings if I need to, if I feel that they're getting offended in any way, because that is not my intention. All right. My intention is to educate. And if I can educate you in having proper goals for the student so that they make progress and that those goals are based off of where their need is and builds off one another to get them to the ultimate goal, which is reading comprehension, then at the end of the day, we all win. All right. The student wins, the teacher wins. I'm happy that I could participate in that win. Okay. All right. So in math, we did the same thing. All right. So in math, the teacher said, oh, we're working on fractions and that sort of thing. And I was like, that's not really something I really care about in reference to ESY. She's struggling with it. She's not really, proficient in it. That's not something that ESY is really about. She can continue that next year. So I said, okay, elaborate. Where is she having trouble? What is she not proficient in? What about basic math? Subtraction, double digit subtraction, addition, regrouping, multiplication, etc. And so she said, the double digit subtraction with regrouping and then multiplication. So I created goals based off that because she said that she knew it, the child knew it, but then she would lose it. So she could do 5 questions is how the teacher explained it. And then she would lose it. She would lose the knowledge that she had in answering the questions in the beginning, which is very typical for children with ADHD, very typical for children with autism and any disability at all, okay? And so, I created goals for her surrounding regrouping and then also one with multiplication, all right? I'm not going to go over all the goals, all right? So the argument came down to, all right, so I explained that. We all got on the same page. They took my goals. Okay, cool. Then I said, so they kept pushing this is what we offer, all right? So this is a child that's in a public school but is in a private, somewhat semi-private school that the public school put her in because of behavior, all right? So behavior interfered with academics and blah, blah, blah. The school couldn't handle it. They put the child in this school, which that's fine because mom can't stand this public school, so it worked out. Problem is, throughout this meeting, I got you guys. If you guys have questions, post them here on the group, post them on the page. I'm going to actually take the time and answer them today, I promise. And I want you guys to ask questions, okay? Because this is an important subject, and this is something you guys need to be on right now, okay? It's not too late. I don't care if school ends in 2 weeks. It's not too late. They actually have to address it, all right? They can't say, oh, you guys only have 2 weeks. Sorry, shit out of luck. They don't do that, okay? Along with, please, please, please don't get IEPs started at the beginning of the school year. Start now. All right. You want that email that I send to go out right now. All right. And before school ends, not, granted, they're going to go out, okay, in September, October, that sort of thing. But if you can not do that and start now, it's just going to put you ahead of the game, and your IEP is not going to be put in play at Christmas. I'll tell you why I say that, because I made that darn mistake so many times. All right. I would go to the first IEP because my IEP always, the annual was like August. All right. So, I'd go and I'd find out things, and, this is what I didn't know a whole lot. And, I would be frustrated and I would have questions, and I didn't know that I was supposed to read this freaking draft thing, before the IEP meeting. I didn't know that I was an equal team member. I mean, I would just show up and read that document really quick, before I went, and, had no clue what half of it said, to be quite honest. And I just kind of winged it. And then I'd go home, and I'm not a stupid individual. I just didn't know, and I'd go home and I'd get really, really angry, or I'd get in the car and I'd get really angry because there were questions that I wanted to say that I kind of got stuck on in that meeting. And I felt like, and don't laugh, okay? Yes, I'm very outspoken. I have no problem speaking my piece. But when you're in a meeting about your child, and I'm nervous, I always got sick before an IEP meeting. Like my stomach would get literally physically sick. All right. And that's what happens when I get upset, or I'm worried about something or whatever. To this day, my stomach will hurt. And I guess that's how I handle stress, how the anxiety affects me, whatever. And, I would literally get sick, and then I'd get there and I'd kind of, let it go. But all those feelings of anxiety before that meeting just would eat at me to the point where I wasn't my true self in that meeting. And Raven, who can speak out and has no problems doing that, didn't speak out in the way I should have to advocate for my daughter and to make change. So for years, guys hear me say 6.5 years, 6.5 years, no joke, 6.5 years of pure and utter worse than hell. I figured it out. All right. So sure, I have education. I've taught. I've had trainings. I have certifications, all that kind of stuff. But it did really nothing. And I'm not saying nothing, but it didn't do what being in the nitty gritty and the trenches like you all are. That's what taught me the best. All right. So sure, everything else helped, but that is what taught me the best. I screwed up, figured it out, screwed up, figured it out, screwed up, figured it out. But I took 6.5 years to do it. And guess who suffered in the meantime? Sky. And so that's why I do what I do. That's why I want you to learn it quick. And I don't want you to make that same mistake. Sure, you're going to make mistakes. Sure, you're going to do things you don't want to do. Sure, you're going to make choices and get out of the IEP meeting and say, oh my God, what did I just do? Or what just happened, etc. Sure, that's going to happen. But I'd rather you nip it in the bud quick versus wait 6.5 years and your child is not progressing that whole time. And that's what happened to my child. All right. So moving on, the argument came when I said, this child is not going to participate in your ESY program. All right. I got you, Vanessa. Let me get through. Well, hold on. I'll just answer this one question real quick. Vanessa says, my son's school said they will use data they've collected through Christmas break and spring break to see if he qualifies for ESY. He has an IEP at the moment for language disorder and other health impairments, but is significantly delayed. My question is, without rambling too much, does an IEP automatically qualify a child for ESY? If not, what does qualify them? Okay. All right. I got you, Vanessa. Okay. So number one, what you just said in the beginning, I'm going to talk to you about ESY later, so stick with me. Let me finish what I'm doing here. But in regards to what she just said about, they said that they're going to look at their data and let the parent know if the child qualifies for ESY, held to the no. Do you hear me? That is them meeting without you or including you in a conversation pertaining to your child, their needs, their educational needs, and what is going to work for them, benefit them or not, and how that's going to take place. Who the hell do you think you are? Now, okay, school districts, they have team meetings, and then they talk about all the children. That happens with gen ed, and that happens with special ed. All right. So are they allowed to have a team meeting and they talk about all the kids and they all sit around the table, blah, blah, blah? Yes, they can do that. That's mature and responsible and they're supposed to, okay? But can they talk about a predetermined decision that they choose to make in that meeting regarding your child without you present? No. ESY is required for every child that qualifies. What qualifies a child for ESY varies, okay? It is not, oh, you know, your child regressed and qualified last year. Oh, your child, has behavior issues, but, ESY is not going to help. Oh, your child is making awesome grades, so there's no way they qualify for ESY. Come again? All right. Come on, guys, don't fall for this shit. All right? Right now. No longer fall for the shit. I spoke with a parent this evening, and, I hope I talk to her again because, the school gaslighted her completely and made her believe certain things that were just not true and how things work. Why school systems are not being transparent to parents and saying, okay, if you make this decision, this is what will happen. And if you make this decision, this is what will happen. And just being honest about it. But they don't at all. All right. So extended school year, Vanessa, before I get into, I'm going to finish my story, guys, but let me explain this to her. You have to provide it and consider it in order to provide FAPE. Okay. So remember, I'm looking both ways. This is group, this is page. So that's why I'm kind of like, okay. So a child with disabilities has to be considered for ESY. In your IEPs, it should never say no. If your IEP says no, you immediately have it changed to be determined, TBD, and then a date. April 16th, 2022, you guys are going to a meeting and you're going to talk about ESY. Your IEP says to be determined on April 22nd, 2022. Next year. All right? Right near the time school ends. It could be the end of May. I don't care. But you really want to kind of address it before like May 15th. All right? It should not say no. How do you know? You don't know as parents. The school doesn't know. How are we saying no? That is a predetermination of a placement of a child. ESY is a placement. You're placing that child in an extended school year for whatever the reason is. And if you predetermine that decision and say no, and that wasn't you all saying no, parents, the school predetermined a placement for your child. Procedural violation. Okay? So FAPE in general refers to extended school year. All right? And it is provided to students, all right, for numerous reasons. One of them is regression and recoupment, all right? People hear, oh, your child has to regress, your child has to regress, your child has to regress. Regression is one of several reasons, okay? So if they say, oh, your child hasn't regressed, so they don't qualify. Here's another kicker, all right? I love throwing this one out. How the hell do you know they're not going to regress when you haven't given them ESY in the first place? How do you know? Kids don't do things every year. Just because my kid didn't regress last summer doesn't mean they're going to not regress this summer. So how do you know for sure, 100%, this is me talking to the school. How do you know 100% that my child's not going to regress? And I'll tell you, if they do, I'm going to hold you 100% accountable. And I promise you that you will be giving my child a lot more services than ESY if my child does regress. Yes, say that. Be honest. The next reason. Okay, so recoupment, all right? I see y'all's questions. I got you, okay? And I see y'all's too. So another reason, recoupment. They're recouping education that they may have gotten already, like this student that we're talking about, how she, could do certain math problems and regroup, and then all of a sudden it was lost. And then she could do it, and then it was lost. That is recoupment. I always like to have goals in a child's IEP of things they already know that they learned maybe the year before and mastered, at least the first quarter, to just make sure that they continue mastering it on top of the goals that they have new. But if they've mastered it and you know that it was a rough one to master, like for my daughter, it was an analog clock. All right. So, and when I say analog clock, that's not just by the hour, that's by the 15 minutes, that's by each and every little one of those dots, everything. All right. So she would get it and she would master it, and then she lost it. So that would be recoupment. We're putting her in ESY so that she can recoup the information that she already had retained and then lost. All right. Number 3. Say, I can't even hold my fingers up right. Okay. Number 3. All right. Degrees of progress. You've probably heard me say the progress is below diminush. All right. What that means is, in layman terms, and Raven understands, when I didn't understand educational jargon with special ed. And I'll tell you this, teachers don't understand special ed jargon. A lot of them. I didn't. All right. So when you hear, all right, degree of progress, all right, and someone says, think about the 2017 Supreme Court case. You guys can look this up. Andrew versus Douglas, and it's ENDREW, not Andrew, versus Douglas, was a very important case. It is the most recent case that went up to the Supreme Court, and the parents won. Oh God, they won millions. But bottom line, they won because their child was not making progress for many years. The parents had taken the child out of the school, paid for private education because the school was failing the child, and then took the school to due process, and they lost. They then went to circuit court, lost again, went to Supreme Court, won everything. So don't think a loss is a loss. You did not lose until you finally lose. And finally losing takes a long time. All right? I'm not saying we're going to the Supreme Court, guys. Okay, let's hope we don't. But don't be afraid to fight. All right? Number 3. All right, so diminished progress, just real quick, is small, minute. I heard in this IEP meeting, so I'm going to talk about this IEP meeting as I go through this. The teacher kept saying, well, she's making progress, because of COVID, things were, a little rough, but now she's back in school, so she's making progress. I said, that's great. I'm glad she's making progress. I want her to make progress. But the problem is we already have a 5-year gap. So in all honesty, I don't give a shit how much progress she's making. The 5-year gap is still there. It hasn't gone anywhere. Okay? The progress she's making right now is the regression she already made during COVID on top of the 5 years that she was already behind. So basically, since she's been in school, she's learned not much. And you want to tell me that she's making progress, so, certain things need to apply in ESY because she's all of a sudden making progress. But there's still a 5-year gap. No. That progress means nothing at this point. We need to close that gap. All right. And we need to figure out what this child needs. And I told the director, and I told the school and the teacher, I said, here's how I think about things. And don't think this is where we're going with it. I just want you to look at it how I look at things. I said, when I look at things, I look at it like this. If I went to due process, all right, you guys have to think of the end and then build back to the beginning. All right. So I look at, okay, if I went to due process over a child being 5 years behind in reading and not as much as in math, but, quite a bit, would I win? And what could the school say to justify 5 years of a gap? Okay, that's what I look at. Because at the end of the day, would I win? Would my child get what they needed if I went to due process? And then I play devil's advocate with myself. I talk to myself, guys. All right, I'm not crazy, but I talk to myself all the time. And I say, if I did this, what would happen? Like, what would their side be? What would their argument be? And and because I've done this long enough, I can come up with a lot of things that, they would say. All right. And the number one thing when I took my school system, all right, I wrote a 35-page due process request, and there was no way in hell the school system wanted to go to due process with me. They immediately asked for mediation, and we settled. I won't talk about what happened in the settlement right now, but bottom line, Skylar got what she needed. They didn't want to go to due process with me. There was no way in hell, because you know what their one argument was? Oh, well, due to her cognitive ability, she can't make progress. That is their comment to a lot of our children in special education. And I'll be very honest with you, that pisses me off so bad. And the words that I want to say when I hear a school system say, due to your child's, cognitive ability and their IQ, they can't learn. Remember I told you a psychologist said that to me, to my face, in reference to my child, and 2 years later in her IEQ, it jumped 22 points. That's actually unheard of. 22 points. And then at Linda Mood Bell, she's almost at a 1.5 progress at a year. Hasn't even been a year yet. August will be a year. So don't tell me my child can't make progress. Every child can make progress. Now, how fast? Sure, that's going to be determined, by the child. But everybody can make progress. It could be in your child learned how to, unload a dishwasher and put on their own clothes and take a shower by themselves. That's progress. All right? So to say a child cannot make progress, unacceptable. Okay? Unacceptable. And so, and I've seen children that are extremely impacted with autism and other disabilities, extremely impacted, and they can make progress. I've seen it. So, that's something to always remember and never accept that, ever. Okay? So moving on, Vanessa. Emerging skills and breakthrough opportunities. All right. So what does that mean? All right. So we want your child to emerge in areas in which they're not at yet, but children, this is where you kind of go with grade equivalent, age equivalent. All right. Is a child at your child's age, Vanessa, doing XYZ and your child is not? Okay, well, that's where emerging skills come into play. Well, we need to learn and teach and establish those skills, all right, in order for that child to build what their skill levels are to get as close to grade equivalent, age equivalent. Okay, so that is this is one of the hardest ones to fight for. Okay. Breakthrough opportunities. Your child is in school all year. They're telling you your child's making so much progress and your child's just almost there with that goal. They're almost there. We're so close, but they didn't make it yet. That is a breakthrough opportunity. I'll be damned if you're going to stop school when you're just right there at that annual goal that you didn't meet in 1 year. That is a breakthrough opportunity. They need to break through within that time period of extended school year and master that goal. Okay? Interfering behaviors is another one. Okay? So behavior impacts education. That's just a given. All right? Behavior impacts people's lives, right? That don't have disabilities. So anyway, behavior is a big one. All right. So if behavior impacts your child's ability to learn, then they're going to need ESY and extra help and care because they need to be able to continuously work on their goals because behavior continues to impede their learning. Now, one thing I will say about this, if behavior is impeding their learning, let's just take the child that I literally, she's getting one-on-one direct instruction, 1-to-1. All right. She's not in the ESY program. All right. It's 1-to-1 direct instruction for 1.5 hours. Remember the science of reading, 90 minutes a day. of reading and she's getting 1 hour of math. And then she's going home. She's not doing that 4-hour thing with them. She's not doing any of that. She's having her own program. All right. Just like, I told you my daughter went to therapeutic riding. She did a theater camp where typical children were like the one-on-ones and helped them. And she learned a whole lot there with socialization and, not having meltdowns and being around children of typical children that were modeling for her. Helped with sensory. Therapeutic riding has so many positives that it's hard to fight for, but it wasn't hard to fight for. I mean, she was getting it, period. They were paying for that shit. All right. Because my child had sensory issues. My child needed to learn, soft versus hard. She needed to learn, compassion and feelings. Okay. She has autism. So she has trouble, or she did have a lot of trouble with feelings. All right. And I'll tell you to this day, all right, if I stub my toe, my husband might laugh. All right. Skylar will say, Mom, are you okay? Are you okay, Mom? Are you okay? Until I say, yes, I'm fine. Or the same thing with my husband. Like he could trip over something and I would probably laugh. But Skylar will say, Dad, are you okay? Are you okay, Dad? And until we say, yes, we're okay, she will keep asking that. How did she learn that? She had none of that. We're talking, my child was you guys have heard my child. She doesn't stop talking, but she was nonverbal until she was about 4. Okay? Completely mute. All right? So know that these things help. Therapeutic riding is what gave her the feeling. I truly believe that's what gave her the understanding of compassion and feeling. And this is how you pet the horse. And she was taught, they modeled it for her. And, I'm just giving you guys examples, whatever it is. If you guys don't like horses, it could be anything, but, she was taught how to, touch the horse. She was taught how to brush their mane and their tail. She was taught safety of how you touch them on their rear end as you walk around them. She was taught so many things. And then she was taught how to ride. And my dad has a horse ranch in Texas, so she already knew how to ride. But it was just amazing at the interaction of a child with special needs and a horse. And horses are extremely smart animals. And it was such a cool thing to see. So I would love to have parents like you all fight for that if that's something you think your child would benefit for. Because ESY is not a standardized 6-week, 5-week program from 9 to 1. It's not. You can get these things. Let's move on. So behavior, of course, is a main one. The next one, the nature and severity of the disability. All right. How much does your child's disability affect them in the educational setting in general? Not in the summer, not any stipulation, in general. All right. So that's a big argument one. The next one and the last one is special circumstances and other factors. Okay. And that could be anything, I love taking anything and making it an argument. Okay. I actually love that. Everybody tells me, go be a lawyer, go be a lawyer. But I love that. Give me a scenario and challenge me to go fight for something. I love it. It's just something I like to do. Because you can I always say you can take verbiage that you're not supposed to use in the special education world, like best. I want what's best for my child. But here's what's weird is I see the teachers and everybody else using that word now. So it's kind of interesting, which I'm glad they're saying it, but it's usually not a word that you're supposed to use. They have to do what's needed and appropriate. That is the verbiage. So I love taking a student, any student, with a disability, and taking what they need and taking what I know is best and just saying it's what's needed and appropriate and making it a true situation. It's not hard to do. It's just being kind of creative with it. So hopefully that answers your question, Vanessa. All right. So moving on. All right. The argument came down to what was appropriate. We then agreed that the typical, once I said, okay, we're not having this, one size fits all. She's not going for all these hours and in a group and doing all this stuff, because that's not how she's, gonna learn. Because once I created the goals, they're thinking everything's great. We're doing this ESY thing that they got going on, and we're good to go. Oh, no. I said, I want you to know that when I say this is what the goals are and this is what she's doing, that this is one-to-one direct instruction. And everybody got quiet. And then I said, so they said, well, we don't know how we could do that. This is what the, the private person, the private school director said. And she said, I'm not really sure we can do that. We don't really have the staff. I mean, they used a lot of things, and the things that they said, I actually warned them. And I said, you guys need to watch what you're saying. You really got to check yourself. And I said, the reason why is you cannot go telling me that you don't have the staff. Go hire them. Contract out. I don't care what you got to do. It's not my problem that you don't have the staff. If this is what this child needs, you all have to provide it. Then, the teacher made a comment about, well, in class, in school, during the school year, this is what we're doing. But I don't see how that would be feasible during ESY. Why not? Because whatever it is that you all are doing isn't working. And so I finally said to the director, I said, you know what? And I meant this. I said, you're a highly educated individual. I said, I don't know you at all. But I know that you're a highly educated individual. So let's just cut to the chase. Because you make no sense. You know this child is 5 years behind. You know that if hypothetically we went to due process over a child who's 5 years behind in reading and math, for God's sake, you would lose. You would lose. I don't care what your excuse is. I don't care if you tell the judge that the child can't learn. I don't care if you tell the judge that the child never shows up at school. I don't care what you say. You will lose. You will lose. There's no excuse for 5 years of a gap. None, guys. So if your kids are that far behind, the school has no backing for it. None. Unless truly you don't send your child to school ever, they don't have a backup for that. Don't be afraid to fight. Because they have no backup for that. They're going to tell you all kinds of shit. All right, they're going to throw it all at you. You're going to be so worried and scared and think that all kinds of things are going to happen. But that is what fear does. Fear makes people react. So we need to get smart. All right, this is what I had to do. I had to get smart. All right, and realize that the way they were acting was a result of the fact that I was making an impact. I was advocating. They didn't like me advocating, so they had to come back like vultures. And that's their tactic of backing parents up, because 99.9% of parents back up when the school comes back after you and goes bam, and then you're scared and you're worried. And, oh, if you don't sign this, then this is going to happen. And, the IEP is going to go in place anyway. There's nothing you can do. You're thinking all these things in your head. Stop. Stop doing that. All right? Think about just human psychology. All right? I took a class in college for freaking ever ago, but it was an interesting class, and it was about body language. All right? I can pick up body language so fast now. And it was just over this one stupid class I just decided to take because I didn't have anything else to take in college for like an elective. But I'll tell you, I learned more from that class than I had in a long time from many classes that I took. And it was amazing how body language tells so much. All right. And I can tell when I'm advocating for a student in an IEP, I can tell when they get antsy. I can tell when I've hit a mark. All right. I can tell when I piss them off. What do? I want to piss them off some more. This sounds bad, all right, when I say this, but I'm totally chill and cool with it. Think what you want, but it works, all right? The more you piss someone off, the more they're going to talk and react, and the more information you're going to get. I learned that really quick. The more I piss them off, and this was with my own school district, all right? I would piss them off so bad. I pissed the director of special education off so bad, I got her on recording saying that my child had not made progress, that they had not implemented the IEP with fidelity, and it was 6 other things on top of it. Because I had pissed her off that bad. She just started throwing up. If someone is angry, it's like I've told you guys, like, you know, if someone's fighting, you know, like boxers or whatever, what do they say? Their worst enemy is them. The worst enemy, their worst enemy, is to have anger and all that emotion in the ring. Look at that in an IEP. Don't be angry. Don't have all that emotion. Change face. Change your tactic. Don't be afraid to be a great big old bee. When you leave, you don't have to be like that anymore. But unfortunately, there's certain things that work. All right? Schools hate me. I love that they hate me. Come at me with anything you got. I'm a big girl. I can take it. But at the end of the day, it's not about you or me. At the end of the day, it's about that child. So I don't care if you come after me. I don't care if you go after the parent. All right? You guys are big girls and big boys and big grandmas. All right? You guys can handle yourselves. Let's talk about the child. Let's focus on the child. School districts seem to deviate their stuff. All right? If they get pissed off at you, it becomes about you, and them. All right? Screw me. Screw you. Let's talk about the child. This is about the child. Okay? It's not personal. It's not about you and I. We are not friends. And we need to make sure that the child gets educated. That is why we're here as a team. Okay? If you get offended by something that I say, put your big girl panties on and move on. It's okay. You're going to be okay. And I say that to school districts. Ask my parents. Ask them. Ask any one of my parents. I got hundreds of them. Pick one. I'll let you have their phone number. I'm sure they'll let you have their phone number. I am sure that they would let you give them a call. I have said so many things in IEP meetings that leave their mouth wide open because I don't care about them or me. It's not about I don't care about them as people or if something happened and someone got hurt or no, it's not that. It's I don't care about them personally. I don't care about what their feelings are. I don't care if their feelings get hurt in things I say, because here's the difference. This isn't an everyday population. We're talking about educators that are educating your children. Okay? So when someone's educating your children, everything comes into play. All right? How you teach my child, what you do, how you act, what you say, what comes out of your mouth, how you talk to me. Okay? Because if you're going to talk to me disrespectful and be an idiot to me, there's no way in hell that you're working with my child. I have kicked so many people off my IEP team, your head would spin, guys. Literally in the IEP with the director of special education sitting right there. I said, pick up your shit and get out of my meeting. You will no longer ever work with my child again. It's happened. And I got it on tape. You have to put your foot down. There's got to come a time. There's too much going on right now. I'm an advocate, okay, and an educational consultant. I am so busy and have been so busy this year because of all the chaos that the school has, which, granted, I want to help you guys. I want to help. Give me a call. I still have 2 spots open, okay? But the thing is it's overwhelming and crazy that it's gone this far. You know, I know COVID. I know it's nobody's fault. I know it was a shit show. But it's time to get it together at this point. All right? And to say one child with special needs doesn't deserve ESY this year is insane. All right, so let me finish this up and then we're going to get off here. And I'm going to answer some questions. And then you can get off or you can listen while I answer questions. Okay, so while I have tons of work to do, I have this whole file for one of my clients that I have to go through and evaluations to look at for my IEP tomorrow. So they argued, the director finally says, okay, well, let's do a specialized ESY. Exactly. That's what I meant. And then she says, okay, well, then we were playing around what that looked like. And then when I said an hour and a half of reading based off the science of reading and the research and everything that goes with it, and then I said an hour of math, then all of a sudden about 15 minutes later, she changes her mind. I call her out on it, and she admits that she changed her mind. And she then wants to say, and mind you, in this meeting, several times did they say, well, we don't really do it like that. We don't really have a staff like that. That's not typically how things go. But then once I said, y'all need to check yourselves. And mind you, I record everything. If they said it, I got it on tape. So don't ever do things you're not supposed to do. Which is, we don't offer that here. We don't typically do that here. That's not how we do things here. We don't have that type of person here. I've heard that all the time about BCBAs. All right. They cannot do that. At any time and always, they have to provide your child what is needed and appropriate, no matter what. So if your child needs a certain ESY program like my child did, she, on top of the therapeutic writing and stuff like that, she had ABA, 2 hours of ABA instruction for learning, and then 2 hours of functional living. She did that. She had her services, speech, OT, dance therapy, so there's a lot that went into it. But I fought for Skylar. I fought, it was, and when I say fight, let me tell you something. When I say fight, all right, y'all might say, oh my God, this woman is like crazy, that's just not my personality. You guys may be saying that. I am not like that. I'm not confrontational. Well, I'm not either. I don't got time for confrontation. It drives me insane. All right? I sure as hell don't have time for drama. All right? I am not the girl that you guys want to go to. Or maybe I should say the woman. I still feel like a girl. But I'm not the person you want to come to and bitch about so-and-so and this person and think that, I'm going to come gossip with you. Not my cup of tea. All right? But what I will do is I'll give you facts to questions that are asked. And, I don't like school systems telling me what they have, what they don't have, what they're used to doing, what they're not used to doing. Because you know what I'll say? I'll say, well, I hear you that you've not done that before. I hear you. But you know what? Smart people do things that are new. Smart people are open to change. Smart people do things differently than the norm because they know it's the right thing to do. Smart people make decisions that are outside the realm of possibly what you would call normalcy, because they're smart and know that that would be a more effective way to do things. So for some reason, I have to give this pep talk so that they can get smart again. So let's go back to this. So after they said that, all that bullshit, and I called them out on that, then the director changes her mind, called her out on it. And I said, fine. I said, Mom said we're going to go to, mediation then before she goes to due process, because, I always tell my parents, we're not playing with math and reading. You guys, you want to play with science and history? I don't give a shit. You want to play with math and reading, and it's war. For me as a parent, play with math and reading in education with my child. It'll be World War III. No, it'll be World War IV. I will take whoever down that I have to take down to make sure that my child gets what's needed and appropriate. I will make sure that your life is hell until my child gets what's needed and appropriate. And what I mean by that is I will make reports, I will make state complaints, I will make OCR complaints, I will call the state, I will make sure that every last person is on their ass, that I am that royal pain in their ass that they just want to get rid of me, which is what happened. So now Skylar is in an amazing school. But basically, being that parent, guys, and I was just saying this later this evening, does not get your child treated differently or worse. It gets your child treated better, because they don't want you on their ass. So the more you're that parent, all right, this is how we get smart. The more you're that parent, the more your child gets. That's how you got to look at it. And call me that advocate that, because I've listened to other advocates, and, they're great. They have their way of how they do things, just like I have my way of doing my things. And it's so crazy to me how different I am. I'm way different than a lot of advocates. I mean, night and day. And I mean, if you guys don't see it, I see it. And I think about that sometimes. And at the end of the day, you know what I say? No way in hell am I changing. No way. Because every time I go to bat for a child, I don't give up. And at the end of the day, that child is getting what is needed and appropriate for them. Period. All right? In over a decade, there's only been 2 cases that had to go to due process and things that I couldn't, take on. All right? And there are situations that happen like that, unfortunately, and they had to, go to due process and do their thing. And, there's certain states that I have represented, but it never went that far. I like to get it done. And you guys got to have that same attitude and, know that you're fighting for your child. And if you think for 1 second that I didn't go through hell or I think I told you guys, I cried all the time. I was depressed. I got anxiety. I just wasn't myself. I would take it out on, my family. I was yelling and I was just not myself because I was so stressed out. And I spent all my time researching and trying to figure out what I needed to do, how I could help my daughter better. And I was so obsessed with what do I need to do? I just wanted to grasp onto anything that I could grasp onto because I didn't know what to do, And so to this day, I remember how I felt. And I never want to feel that way again. Ever. And so when I hear parents, talk about their situation or talk about the bullshit that the schools are giving them, it brings that kind of baggage, if you will. I don't know what you would call it. Is it baggage? Is it just those underlying feelings that have never really gone away of an anger of what I went through, the hell I went through, what they put me through, and then at the end of the day, forget about me. I mean, I went through all that, yes, but at the end of the day, Sky's the one who suffered to where she is now because of them. Am I happy she is where she is now? Yes. Am I thrilled? Could I jump for joy and have balloons all over my house and have a party every day because of it? Yes. But please understand the turmoil and stress that it put me and my family through. And to the point where my older kids, who are now 25 and 21, one's military, one's a teacher, would say, Mom, all you do is give Skylar the attention. Because I was so hyper focused on doing whatever I needed to help her. So do what you guys got to do. Don't waste the time that I did and time with your other kids, because other kids that you have, your other children, feel that stress that you feel. They may not know, what it is you're going through or, what the feeling is. But just like, if you had a fight with your spouse or something went down, kids feel that. So other children that you have, whether they have special needs or if they're, typical children, they still feel like I don't get any of the, that's how my kids felt for a period of time. All mom does is worry about Sky. All mom cares about is Sky. All mom, mom's she's always talking about Sky and always, researching Sky. She's not spending time with us because I didn't. I was so busy, researching and stressed out. And the times when I wasn't researching and stressed out, I was stressed out and just wanted to veg and didn't want to participate in anything because I was just so stressed out about it all. And then not knowing what to do stressed me out even more, So it was just a effed up situation. All right. And so that is why I'm so passionate. I'm not a bitch. Can I be? Sure. But what woman can't? Right? But I'm passionate because of what I've been through. So I know what I'm fighting for. Even though each student that I work with and parents and families are different, that feeling, that purpose is still there. Okay? So that is what keeps me going. That is what, makes me okay with, oh God, the school systems know when I'm coming. I'm dealing with a school system now where they're getting ready to deal with me with two separate parents, same school district, same director of special ed, and thinking in my head like, gosh, is that how I want to be portrayed? Where people are like, oh dear God, here she comes, But I am, because when they say that, that means I'm helping another child. And that is worth everything. And that is why I come and tell you about when I talk about or have an IEP or have something going on, is because it is, and I talk about the good and the bad, you guys know that, but it's because it's such a relief and it's feels good to do right by a child that can't ask for that themselves, and can't say, I need help. This is not how I learn. This is, and then school systems that are completely disregarding and ignoring the parents. So it is an amazing feeling knowing that at the end of the day, no matter what the school districts think of me, that student is going to get what they need, and that student is going to get the education that they need. If not, I'm coming back into play, and they know that. So ESY is important, just as important as a school year. Don't let the schools significantly jeopardize your child's education by denying ESY because of their bullshit reasoning. All right? I can guarantee you that you can come up with a reason that is sufficient and within the factors that are needing to be considered in order for your child to get ESY. All right? So we're done for the day. Questions. All right, so I think I answered Vanessa's question here. Don't forget, if you're jumping on here, post a 1 below if it's your first through third time catching me live. Post a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. All right, go subscribe to my YouTube. I am going to give Amazon gift cards out. Okay, so go subscribe and then post below, even if I'm done with my live, that you subscribed. Okay? All right. Marina says, Lord, I wish I found it. Okay, yeah, I read that one. Thank you guys for subscribing. You guys are awesome. And the link to YouTube is on the page, and it's on the group on the comment section. All right. I think I'm good there. All right. No, I know I got a lot here, so let's get going here. Okay. So Stephanie says second time. Love the first one from Washington County, Maryland. Awesome. Yes, I remember you. Then we have, hey, Kristen, how are you? So, hey, Christina. Rachel. Wow, long time. Wow, hello. Goodness gracious. And we have Divinia. Hello, hello. I saw your post. I got to respond to that. Okay, so Dory, hello from Pennsylvania. Yeah, don't forget to say where you're from. Naomi, hello, hello. Tess said, I didn't know that included breaks. Yes, ma'am, it does. Hi, Kim. Kristen says, wow, I didn't realize it could be during different. Yeah, absolutely. Sky has received ESY and even makeup sessions during Christmas break. So makeup, what I mean by that is, like if a speech therapist, a service provider, OT, PT, whatever, if they are absent, they have to make up those hours. Okay? They don't get to just be absent and your child loses out on speech that day. So they've made up sessions during Christmas break. Hi, Janine. Hopefully I'm saying your name right. Let me know if I'm not. Tess says, yes, CPS is used as a weapon in our district. They also share personal information to friends and scam. Yeah, absolutely. They do that. I've had parents where they share information. They've called CPS. They do the whole truancy thing, all kinds of stuff. But you guys just gotta, be okay with that. All right. It's just kind of one of the hurdles and is nothing to be worried about. All right. There was a time I had to take a time-stamped picture of Skylar every time she walked out my door for a period of time until they, CPS was calling me twice, which is amazing. With as much as I was a pain in the ass, they've called twice. No big deal. And, of course, they were unfounded. And finally, CPS, because I had reasoning, I actually said the first time that I was going to call on them because Skylar came home with two on each side of her hip, like open wounds. And I kept saying something. I mean, I had it all documented, and I had a folder, of documentation. And because back then I wasn't smart enough to put it online, which is why I always ask you things through email. But anyway, so I said at an IEP meeting that I was going to call CPS on them because they couldn't tell me why she was coming home with both sides and she had open wounds every day. And so the minute I said that, they called before me. So anyway, CPS comes to my house. So this is why you don't have to worry about certain things, guys. The CPS came to my house. They asked what happened, that, there was a complaint. Of course, I knew exactly what it was about. And so I brought my whole damn file down and showed them the file. And I said, she's been coming home every day. Here are the pictures. Here's the pictures when she left my house. Here's the pictures when she came back in. This was day 1. This is day whatever it was. And I said, so something's happening at that damn school. So do you know the CPS worker actually went out to the school and figured out what was going on? The school couldn't do it, but the CPS worker did. They provided a swing for her, and the swing was hitting both sides of her hips, because she likes to swing hard, and or she did, and it caused the wounds. Now, had the school just told me that, okay, we would just change it up, but instead they play games. So anyway, all right. So, okay. Yeah, definitely share the lives. Absolutely. On the group and the page. If you want to share my lives, absolutely. You're absolutely welcome to do that. Ermilda says, this is such great information. Thank you so much. Linda, hello. That has been my biggest struggle, knowing exactly what Aiden understands since he's nonverbal. Using his device is just repeating, but does he understand? Just brought this up to school since I noticed when doing virtual with him, his understanding is much less than I thought, and doing reading comprehension with him. Yeah. Go back to the vocabulary piece and make sure he can decode, he has language recognition and knowledge. And then once you're solid on the fact that he has his words, he has word recognition, has language knowledge, and meaning language knowledge is vocabulary, then move into that comprehension piece. All right. So, Christine, what about trying to ask the district to outplace children? All right, if you're still on here, Christine, expand on that. Tell me what you mean and what your focal point is with that, and then I'll help you. Tarina says, does the school have final determination if we like our child to go to a school that we feel will be better for him? Yes and no. So you can request, you have to have substantial proof. All right. So what I mean by that is, if you want your child going to a private school or a different school or whatever, usually if it's within the district, won't be a problem. Or if it is, it's not going to be much of a fight. Okay. But if it is like a private school or something like that, oh yeah. I mean, number one, it's going to be a fight. Number two, you're definitely going to mediation over it, which is not a big deal. Mediation's fine. It's great, actually. Very successful, typically. Has like an 85% success rate. And, if it's going to be better for him, then you need to answer all those questions that the school system's going to fight. Why do you want to send him there? What's the purpose? What is it that the child's going to get at that other school that they're not getting at the school that they're at now? Is the child making progress at where they're at now? And if they're not making progress, what have you done about it? What has the school tried? What have they not tried? Have you asked them to try anything and then they denied you? There's so many questions that can go into play that creates that final outcome. So you can't just go to another school, like a private school or whatever, and, not have already tried something at the school. You have to, try a couple things first and give the opportunity. And then if it doesn't work, then that's when you move further. But it can't be where, there hasn't been things tried. You haven't asked for 50 million IEPs. They're just not listening to you. It's just not working. Your child's continuing to not make progress. That's different than if you try something, it's not working, you try it again, and then you're kind of like, okay, this isn't working. What you're doing isn't working for my child, So a lot of things go into play there. Christine says, many times can a parent ask or request when it comes to PPT meetings? Anytime you want. And they have to hold the IEP meeting within 30 days. Okay, so if I wrote an email, I need to have an IEP meeting. I usually will say, I need to have an IEP meeting in regards to parental concerns or whatever it is. I usually will not go into detail on it. I like to leave that question mark. I like to leave that room for curiosity on their end. So I'll say, I need to have a meeting immediately in regards to parental concerns or whatever it is. I expect to hear back from you within a reasonable time frame so that we can meet within the 30-day time period. That's it. That's all I say. I don't elaborate. I don't talk about feelings. I don't talk about shit. This is why I want to meet, because I have concerns. I expect to hear back from you in a reasonable time. I expect to hear back from you in a reasonable time so that we can meet within the 30-day time period that's required. That's it. All right. So, Christine says, can a parent say no to ESY for whatever reason? Of course you can. Thank you, Janet. Janet says, you are the best. Thank you. You're welcome. Christine says, my child has been behind, saying she's still working, and they're saying she's on first and second grade reading, even with math. This is why I request IEEs. Okay. I don't know your whole situation. I'm a little confused, Christine, but I'm guessing you've had evaluations. You didn't agree. She's behind, so you asked for an IEE, which is an independent education evaluation, guys, where you get to choose what evaluator you go to outside of the school system. And that can happen after an evaluation that the school system has done that you've requested, or is there triennial? But again, do not. I was actually asked this today, or maybe it was yesterday. Do you really ask for evaluations every year? And I said, yeah. I tell my parents too as well. Absolutely. Because you do realize, this is what they said, because you do realize it's not required legally other than triennially. I said, yeah, I do realize that. And I also realize that a lot of laws are freaking stupid. And this one is one of them. And the reason it's stupid is because children change clothes and change sizes every year pretty much as they're growing. Why the hell would I think that their brain doesn't change in knowledge base and size as well? Which it does, because it continues to grow into, middle school age, maturity areas. So why wouldn't I ask for it every year? I mean, wouldn't that be stupid and irresponsible of me as a parent to not ask for it every year? I think it's stupid and irresponsible of the Department of Education to not require it every year versus every 3 years. She didn't say nothing. Okay. Yes, I want to speak all the bad words when I'm told about my child. Yeah. How do you find out how many years behind they are? We always seem to get that info in percentile ranks, below average, etc., but not his actual reading. Wow, Misty. All right. Number one, I don't know if you heard my story a while back where I talked about a school district that I went to an IEP, and I literally for an hour, what is the grade level the child's learning on? Because I kept saying making progress, making progress. Same with the student today. Making progress, making progress, making progress. Let me tell you something. Not only is the child 5 years behind, but she was making progress on a third grade level. I don't care. I'm glad she's making progress, but it's not the progress that we need to be seeing. All right. Stop letting them bully and overspeak you in things about progress that they're shoving it down your throat, that they're blind to what the real problem is. And I said that, recently to a team last week. I was like, what is wrong with you guys? Okay, if the child's making progress, that's great. That doesn't mean we don't provide intervention to a child that's such and such amount of years behind. I mean, what are it drives me nuts, because I'm speaking these things to educators. Educators. Like, what is freaking wrong with this picture, guys? So you ask over and over and over and over, and you don't stop. And when I say don't stop, what I mean by that, Misty, this is what I did. What grade level is the child on? They changed the subject. What grade level is the child on? They changed the subject. We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. No. Answer my question, please. What grade level is the child on? We said that we will get there at the end. Well, we'll talk about this. We're going to get to this, okay? Let's just move on, and, we'll get to that part. No. Tell me what grade level my child is on. Right now. I want to know. Right now. We are in an IEP meeting. I have every right to ask questions, and I can ask any question in an IEP meeting. Any question at all. There is no law or dictation of a question that I can ask, and you are going to be transparent and honest about it. And if you don't, you're not going to forget me. I promise you that. Get mad. You tell me what grade level my child is on now. If not, you're not treating me as an equal team member, you're lying to me, and you're being very disrespectful and someone that I don't want my child working with ever. Now you tell me what grade level my child is on. See what they do. And I have done that many times. Too many to count. I don't play with that shit. I don't. You guys got to stop. All right? Go smack your hands and go grab a glass of wine and talk to yourself and say, I will never allow myself to be bullied and gaslighted and made to feel as if I don't know my child better than anybody by the school system again. Make that promise to yourself. You deserve it. So does your kid. Okay. Veronica says, I want my child in summer school. Can the school tell me no? Well, summer school, do you mean ESY? Because ESY, there's no such thing as summer school unless your child is a typical child going to summer school because they failed something. All right, or they need to catch up on something or whatever. That's not really my expertise anymore with the typical kids, but I know that's what it's called for them. But typically, I'm not saying never, but typically a child with special needs is not thrown into summer school. All right, it's ESY, and there's a reason for it. Do not put your kids in this generic ESY classroom. They don't do that crap with your kids when they put them into an autism classroom and they fight you and say, oh, well, this is the best place for them. They don't need to be here or here. They need to be in the autism classroom for the autism program. Or they need to be in a more restrictive environment because of blah, blah, blah. Or whatever the case may be. All right? They'll fight that. But you ask for ESY and we got problems. And it be specific to that child. I don't know what they do in a 5-week period. I don't really care. All I know is my child doesn't learn in a group setting. She just doesn't. I know that about her. She is very much a one-to-one child, and she always will be. And even though I wish she would want to participate in more group things and, have that socialization and, have that, part of life that, has interpersonal relations, but that's not her, you know? And I had to learn a long time ago when I was accepting the fact that she had autism, that feeling of that all of us go through of, just that adjustment of our children have a disability, maybe something we've never even heard of. We're scared, we're worried, we're confused, is it our fault? All these things go through our heads. And I say these things being transparent with you guys because I know that I'm not a crazy person. I know I'm not the only person who thought in my head, like, did I do something wrong? Did I do something wrong when I was pregnant? Did I eat something wrong? Did that one glass of wine that I had, like, screw her up? I mean, like, I had all kinds of shit go through my head, and we can't do that to ourselves. All right. Ever. And, it's got to be where that you can make the best decisions for your kids. You got to know that your gut is everything. All right? I know people are weird with that, but 99.999% of the time I go with my gut, I'm right. That gut feeling of, even if it's one of those things where you're feeling, really, should I say that? Should I not say that? I mean, and you're questioning things, it kind of goes back to when I taught. I would say there's no question that's a stupid question. And the questions that people think are stupid are usually the smartest questions that are asked, because they're questions that other people are scared to ask that you had the guts to ask. All right. And so come out of your shells, if you're more of a passive person, and, even if it's just for that meeting, that's why I always say, put on your face and then take it off when you walk out. All right. Keep the emotion out the door. Go in as a lion. Come out as a lamb. All right. But fight for your kids. All right. So Veronica says, that would be crazy if they tell you no, but every school is different. My school in Western Kansas requested my daughter to go to summer school. Interesting. Tess says she's fighting things at the moment. Okay. Christine says, yes, amen, because for me, I don't care if I work for the school district, because when it comes to my kids, it's a different ball game. Hi, Mary Ellen. Thank you, Erin, for posting some links. But let's talk about your rate of success. Yeah, it's high. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's a lot of work, but worth it. Janet says, I went through the same thing, crying, depression, anxiety. Yeah, me too. Erin says, trauma, PTSD, emotions. BB says, she said a 2. So that's right. You are not new anymore. Stephanie says, when is it too late in the year to ask? There isn't. If you're still in school, ask for it. If you need help to fight for it, let me know. But don't ask for it. Shit. You know what? Don't ask for it. Don't ask for it. Say, my child needs ESY. When are we meeting? All right? When are we meeting? Y'all didn't contact me. And did you know if your school doesn't contact you to talk about ESY, that's a violation. They have to contact you to talk about ESY, and that actually should be in your IEP. TBD. We are going to talk about ESY in April or May. If your school has not contacted you and talked to you about ESY for your child with special needs who has an IEP, big deal. You go show up at that school and say, we got something to talk about. When are we meeting? Put it in writing, email it every day, 3 times a day. When are we meeting? I haven't gotten a call. I haven't gotten a email. When are we meeting? You haven't talked about ESY in reference to my child. Why are you denying my child ESY and you haven't even talked to me about it? You know, Stephanie's sitting here asking, you know, when's it too late to ask? She shouldn't have to say that. They should be coming to her. Hey, we need to meet because we need to talk about ESY, and if it's something that is going to, you know, be something that your child needs. Them not considering ESY as a violation. Can my school tell me to not no to summer school for my son? Yeah, they can tell you no. They can tell you all kinds of stuff. They do tell you all kinds of stuff. The things the school system feeds us these days. I mean, you could sit and eat, grab some popcorn. I mean, we need to have popcorn, and you know, we gotta have a little bit of chocolate. Okay, I like chocolate, and you know, we should all just come over to my house and sit down and watch the show of the, you know, like there should be like a documentary of all the bullshit that school systems like I need to call all my parents of the IEPs that I record and say, hey, can I take snidbits of the IEPs and the bullshit schools say and create like a documentary? I mean, that would be freaking genius. Take, you know, all these tidbits of all these directors of special education and all the educators and the stupid shit that comes out of their mouth, and you know, the things that they say, the procedural violations that just come out of their mouth and they don't even think twice about it. You know, like taking the snidbits and then having someone put it all together. That would be funny, wouldn't it? That's an idea. I'm so glad I watched you tonight. I have clicked to join, clicked out quickly. I've been ready to face all the stuff coming at me with my special needs child. This has been great, and I look forward to joining again. Yes, absolutely, Trina. And make sure you join the group. It's Autism Mama Rocks the IEP group. Just stick it in the search bar. All right. Can you recommend a good OT and speech? Hampton Roads in Virginia. I'm going to look. Janet, I'm going to look. Also, if your child has been invited to Gen Ed summer school every year, K first, second, not third, because of COVID, because the teacher said they would benefit from attending, would that be a good example to use since they finally got an IEP to get ESY now? Yeah. I mean, it's all in how you word it and say it. But yes, I agree that those go together. Yeah. If your child is behind and the school can't provide the right services for the child, can you request for out? Yes. And or you can, they need to contract out. They need to have that person come in to serve your child. So your child's labeled with a learning disability, but no kind of learning disability. So Christine, which is why I have my process. Okay, I have a process to this IEP thing. Any of you guys who think that you can just go to an annual IEP and at that point in time you're supposed to create this IEP because they shove a draft down your throat is crazy. That's the craziest shit ever. Stop doing that. All right, I'm going to write like a list of stop. Do not think that you can go to an annual IEP meeting and talk about if the present levels are accurate, where the hell did they come from, what data, not observational. Don't tell me it's observational. Do not talk to me about observational data. I hate that shit. I don't give a shit what you observed. I don't care. I observe things all the time. You observe things all the time. I'm an equal team member. You guys don't take my word for what's observed. Why would I take yours? How I look at it is it's your opinion. When somebody observes something, okay, let's take Stephanie, Christine, let's take Nadia and Vanessa. Okay, we're all gonna go observe. All right, I'm gonna invite you to my house and you're gonna observe Skylar. All right, Aaron, Janet, Bill, everybody's coming to my house. All right, y'all are gonna come over here and you're gonna observe Skylar. All right, I'll give you each, I don't know, 30 minutes with Skylar. That's about what they do. 15 to 30 minutes. I've asked them. That's what they said today. Oh, I do it a couple times, 2, maybe 3 times. 20, 30 minutes, see what they're doing. Okay, cool. 20 to 30 minutes. Go, observe my child. Tell me what the hell it is that you think that you're going to get in observing my child in that amount of time. Not shit. And she sure as heck isn't going to act the way she normally acts because you're observing her and she's feeling weird. She doesn't know who you are. Or if the teacher is observing, all right, do I take the teacher's words for what they say, what they've seen, etc.? Yes, but only to an extent. I never go off of solely observational data, which is why I hate a read, okay? But I encourage reads because they're so stupid that you get all kinds of information out of them. They're that dumb. All right. I mean, I have reads from clients. Oh, it's copy and paste most of the time from a read a couple years before or the year before. And they call it an evaluation. It's the start of an evaluation. It is a consideration of an opinion. All right? Because if you guys all observed Skylar, like I was just saying, and then I had you write a paragraph for me of what you thought when you observed her. What did you observe? Where were you at? What was she doing? Did she have a meltdown? Did she not? Did she talk to you? What did she say? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, was she distracted? Was she not distracted? Did she have any behavior issues? What were the behavior issues? What were the antecedents? What was going on? What caused the behavior? Do you know, all of you may have a couple things in common, but you're all going to have different opinions. Does it make any one opinion wrong? No. But does it make what the opinions are valid or something to take as a 100%? Absolutely not. It is subjective data. You want objective data. All right. So Carly says ESY is a joke here. It's 12 days. That is not even, no. And that's why you need to cater it to your child. Don't forget, guys, if you're joining, post a 1 below if it's your first through third time catching me live. 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. I'm just answering questions now. Make sure you go back and watch the replay. Post a 1 below and where you're from, or if you're a 2 and I don't know where you're from, post where you're from. And make sure you share this. And make sure you go and subscribe to the YouTube. It's in this section of the comments of the link. And I'm going to be doing gift cards. You could write a book of everything that you have seen and heard, just like I could with the job I do. Stuff you can't make up. Yeah, that's right, Kim. Bill says, Raven, if they were upfront and honest, we wouldn't need your expertise. True. True that. Hi, Native. How are you? Okay. What they are telling me, he is not forgetting anything over the break, so there's no need for it. But when he had his evaluation for autism, said he would benefit from it. Okay, so that's called bullshit. Okay, Veronica? So here's the bullshit that happens there. Hey, Scottsdale, Arizona. Oh, I love that area. All right. we need to have like a retreat or something. You know what I mean? Like we need to have like, I need to have like a California retreat and a Texas retreat and, you know, a Ohio retreat. Ohio is the new and upcoming hellhole. Um, and oh yeah, we need to, New York has always been difficult, like California. Um, California is getting easier. Maybe they're just used to me now. Maybe I'm just used to them. I don't know. Um, okay, so it should be a welcome video when you find out that your child has special needs. There should be a welcome packet that tells you what to expect. Yeah, I wish. I mean, that needs to be given to all parents, right? Thank you, Kim. Christina says, how do you cater ESY to your child? Okay, well, you take what your child's needs are. All right, you can't choose them all. So I say pick 5 basic, everyday needs that impact them in the educational setting. All right. And when I say impact them in the educational setting, that can be in any way, shape, or form. That can be sensory. It could be physical therapy type stuff. It can be speech. It can be behavior. It can be academic. You know, like I said, it could be regression. It could be they need to recoup information. It could be, you know, they have not progressed or the degree of progress is so little that they need it. It can be the nature and the severity of their disability, like we went through, and other circumstances, all of that stuff. All right. So you need to just make sure that you focus on those areas. So let's just take, I'll just go with my daughter. Okay. So she needs ESY specifically because she loses information. All right. She needs to always be kept moving with her brain. All right. Her brain always has to be filled with information. All right. Like, take, for example, she goes to Linda Mood Bell. She comes home every day and tells mom that she painted pictures. All right. She painted pictures in her head. And this is how has gone up so many grade levels in her reading because she's painting these pictures. What is that doing? Expanding her vocabulary. I mean, she comes home and tells me certain words of vocabulary that, like, I'm not expecting to come out of her mouth. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird. And I'm like, what did you say? Because she's using these words that are like age appropriate words. You know, she's going to be 16 in August. And, you know, she does a lot of age appropriate things now, but then she also does a lot of things that are not age appropriate. Like, she is, you know, in some areas, she's like on a 11-year-old level. But then there's some age appropriate stuff she does. And there's some stuff that she does that's like, you know, even younger, you know? So she's kind of like, she's not any one thing, just like ESY. It's not for any one thing. So you have to focus in on, you know, what those areas are. So if it's speech and your child receives speech, you know, if you had recent evaluations, you can go off of that. If you ever don't agree with your school's evaluation, you always have the right to an IEE. Always, you know. I personally am a fan of IEEs because, and I encourage them. I tell parents, yeah, the school system has 2 choices. They can take you to due process or, you know, accept the IEE within a reasonable time frame. At the end of the day, most of the time, they approve it. Very rarely do they take you to due process. Have I seen it? Yeah. But is it often? No, not at all. And so having 2 different perspectives, one being what the school is saying, and then 2, having someone else that you choose and what they say, and having a probably more thorough evaluation, is what is ideal. So the IEE being where you choose the evaluator, you get to choose the psychologist, you get to choose the speech therapist, you get to choose the occupational therapist or whatever it is you're wanting to have evaluated, instead of the school doing it because you don't agree with theirs. you then get to go and choose your own therapist, and the school pays for it. All right. So thank you guys. I'm done for the night. I want you to go subscribe to my YouTube. All right. I want to see like tons of people on my YouTube. All right. Because that is going to be launching soon. We just have to put the pictures up and the titles of the videos. And then I'm going to be streaming to Facebook and YouTube at the same time. It's going to be super cool. And so I need your guys' help to spread the word. Have your friends that you've invited to the group and that you've invited to the page. You know, if you're a part of the page and you're not part of the group, come to the group. It's Autism Mama Rocks IEP group. Put it in the search bar. But also go subscribe to YouTube. I'm going to be giving out or several gift cards for Amazon. And all you got to do is press below, subscribe. I will see, obviously, on YouTube if you subscribe, and you will go in the hat. Okay. So does the school have to do the evaluation first? Then if you don't agree, do the IEE. Yes. All right. So you're welcome, Linda. Good night, Janet. Good night, everybody. Make sure you go subscribe to YouTube. Promise me you will go subscribe to YouTube. Okay. And then make sure you come back here and post below, either on the group or on the page, subscribe. Okay. And then your name will go into the hat. All right, guys, I will talk to you later. Have a wonderful night. And we are going to continue with reading this week. All right, I'll talk to you soon.